the reaction by the former president and the current president could not be in sharper contrast.
They are very different, no question about that.
When you reference President Trump, there were 300 classified documents, there was a warrant, there was refusal to comply. In the case of Biden, he granted permission, and this was consensual.
It wasn't a subpoena. It was a cooperative search. It was done with the president's legal team acknowledging it.
The media reminding us that President Trump's transgressions were far worse than President Biden because he would never stoop to such lows ever. Joining us now is our Monday company, Tim Graham, executive editor at Newsbusters, and Trish Regan, host of the Trish Regan Show. Welcome to both of you. All right, Trish, I'm going to start with you. You know, it was so interesting to see how these pundits and even the media were so quick to almost criminalize Trump for his transgressions. And now they're having a hard time figuring out how to talk about this with Biden, especially as almost every week now we're getting new information and more information that maybe this guy wasn't as transparent or innocent as he seems.
Yeah, Lyndsay, it's good to see you. I mean, I was just blown away by how immediate their reaction was in terms of carrying Joe Biden's water. They wanted to explain immediately how different this was, that there was no malintent, that it was just probably an honest mistake, and at least he came forward right away. I'm sorry, the guy didn't come forward right away. I mean, it took 68 days before the public knew about it. And Lyndsay, you know what? We may not have ever known a thing about it if he had had his way. It looked like they were trying to do some backroom deals. Somebody leaked it. Somebody knew, somebody leaked it. Probably somebody who does not want him to run in 24. And so now we know, but now we know more and more and more. It's seemingly every day it feels like we're finding out about more boxes and how they were stored. I'm really troubled by it, and I think it's very important that the media come out right in front of this one, just as they did with Donald Trump.
Absolutely. And to your point, if it weren't for CBS investigative reporting, we wouldn't know this information to this day, likely, because as you mentioned, there were backroom deals that they weren't going to talk about it. You know, Tim, it's interesting because we had former Alabama Senator Doug Jones. He was asked about the White House hiding this scandal from the public over 2 months that we know. And here was his response.
I think that that's just a judgment call. I don't think they should have disclosed it the minute that this happened, for the very reason we're having to talk about it now. It should not be a political issue. I have no problem with the fact that they didn't disclose earlier.
Okay. To Trish's point, we know that we found out this through a media leak. Secondly, this administration is failing by their own standard. I think that's part of this as well. They're the ones who said they would be the most transparent administration that we've seen, and they haven't done that. And they keep trying to say we have been upfront, but every day we're finding out that's not actually accurate.
It's not just that they're not transparent, it's that they're showing that they're not competent. They said they were going to be so much more competent than Trump, and this obviously is a case where they haven't been. And the best part of that Doug Jones clip is the idea that this isn't a political issue. Well, it was very much a political issue when they raided Mar-a-Lago. So political that you couldn't call it a raid. Oh no, we were executing a search warrant. Yes, this whole thing, they should have known how political it was, and I think they did. I mean, they tried to not let it come out because they know what they said about Trump.
Yeah, right. And now they've lost their moral high ground, as many people are talking about. I do want to shift gears, Trish, and get your take on this CNN guest trying to split hairs over the definition of violence. We're talking about the importance of words here. This is regarding the Atlanta protests that we saw over the weekend. Listen to this.
This idea that breaking windows or other acts of property destruction are the same as actual violence against humans it's kind of a dangerous and slippery concept. The only acts of violence against people that I saw were actually police tackling protesters. Okay, so just for fun, Trish, of course, we had to look up
just make sure we were accurate on what we think violence is. And according to Oxford Dictionary, this is Oxford here, it actually does also mean the violence against property. It's so interesting how when people are supporting some form of protesting, if it gets violence, they don't want to use those words. Specifically, if it's not people involved here, they want to protect these people who they think are doing something right.
It's unbelievable. I'm so glad that you showed that, and I'm so glad that you showed the definition. Look, part of being a country, part of having a civilization where you have certain freedoms and certain opportunities means that you must guarantee to some extent one's safety. You must be able to guarantee that a business can operate without fear of all the shoplifting that has happened recently, of the windows being broken, of all the things, by the way, the bad things that we saw there over the weekend, unfortunately in Atlanta. That should not be happening. Imagine if you're the tourist, right, that's staying in the hotel right nearby. You're seeing all of this unfold. It is extremely unsettling. It is hurtful to people's economic livelihoods. It is hurtful to their sense of safety, which, by the way, is incredibly important, again, for the health of a society. You need to be able to feel safe. And for anybody to go out there and excuse in any way, shape, or form any of what we saw, that's inexcusable, Lyndsay.
I would agree with you on that, Trish. Tim, only about 30 seconds left. I'll give you the final word.
Well, it obviously, yes, they want to say property isn't involved in violence because they hate property anyway. I mean, these are anti-capitalist people, but obviously this was a protest spurred because the guy that was killed that they're protesting over shot a cop in the abdomen. So violence started the whole thing, and then we got some more violence.
So unfortunate. Got to call out things as they are. Trish, Tim, thanks for being here. Good to see you both.
Thanks.
Thanks.